Alrighty, we're here in Athens, Greece, and I want to talk to you guys about something that might seem repetitive, but is actually extremely important because it might be a bottleneck in your company, in my agency, in most people's agencies, and that's show up rate. And that's how to set, how to track. And Alex Hormozi, absolute legend. I've talked about him multiple times on this channel. If you don't know who he is, you're living under a rock. But he said, we often need to be reminded more than we need to be taught, because there comes a certain time where, yes, education is a limitless game, but when it comes to the agency space, there are just certain bottlenecks that you aren't going to break through until you are reminded that the problem isn't going to grow until you do. And so what does this mean? And so in the beginning, cold call, track everything. Use Google Chrome Scraper. It's an extension, or it's an extension onto Chrome. And so how you do this is you just go to Google Maps, type in your city, type in your state, and then you're just going to scrape all the leads, put it onto a CSV, and then import it onto an Excel sheet. And you're just going to have two columns, the name of the company and the phone number. That's it. And so you're just going to upload thousands, and after each and every single cold call, you're going to have a green, yellow, or red box after it with, did you set a meeting? Are they interested but they couldn't talk? Or was it the gatekeeper or the owner just kind of cursed you out? Whatever. And when I did this, you have to have small wins that kind of keep you going. You need to have small wins that keep you going. And I would just make myself laugh. I would just write like fucking bitch next to the contacts because of the gatekeeper or whatever it was. But if I did set an appointment, cool. Put the time, put the date, put the Google Meet, and mark it as green. If they are interested but they can't talk, and that'll often be the case because you'll experience that most people, they're busy, right? We're dealing with contractors here. They're busy, they're out about, they're in the fields. And so one of the questions that I ask on the setting call, which you should too, is simply, is now a bad time? Not, are you free? Because that implies that they're the authority and they're kind of looking down on you. In every single relationship, when you set, you have to establish authority. You have to establish that you are a respected marketer in your respected fields. Because the truth is, guys, these people, they get these calls all the freaking time. And how can you differentiate yourself in this field? How can you make yourself stand out among a giant red ocean of just like-minded people who are just doing the exact same thing? And going back to the question though, is now a bad time? Is now a bad time? If it is, cool. Then just call them back at a different time. If it's not, then get into discovery. Don't ask, are you free? Ask, is now a bad time? But red, yellow, green, keep it super simple. Steve Jobs said, the ultimate sophistication is simplicity. First off, take a look at this view. I know. We booked our flight 10 hours before coming here. We were like, fuck it, where are we going? We were done with Albania. And so we ended up coming here. This is absolutely incredible. We actually hiked all the way to the top over there. But yes, Steve Jobs, simplicity, red, yellow, green, that's it. No need to overcomplicate things with N8A and create crazy automations in the beginning of your journey, or these crazy workflows, or whatever it is. Keep things simple, straight, and to the point. Now, how do you set? What's the importance of setting? And because the truth is, if you set 20, 30, 40 calls, but only 5 show, 5%, 10% show, you're not going to scale, and you're not going to get the results that you want, and you're going to feel like you're going crazy when in reality you haven't grown. Whether it's your skill set, limiting belief, mindset, etc., etc. And so open the curiosity loop, give as much value as you can, talk about the guarantee, talk about what you guys do for contractors, and oftentimes they're just going to ask questions. How much does it cost? What do you want from me? Or their upfront costs? And you can kind of just like Aikido those back into discovery, but you need to give value. You need to have them actually understand the importance of staying on the call and speaking with you in that time and moments. And whether that's how many contractors you've worked with, how much money you've made your contractors, the guarantee you have in place over the course of X amount of time. And once they hear that, it's then, okay, it then just comes down to keeping that curiosity loop open and not answering their questions. Not answering their questions, kind of giving them just some quick in and out answers, because the truth is, if you close that curiosity loop of theirs on the call, they aren't going to show, or they might show, right? There are exceptions to the rule, but they have the answers to everything they're looking for. And you don't want that to happen, because when they have the answers to everything they're looking for, that's the curiosity loop closing. That's them saying, oh, you're just like everyone else. That's them saying, oh, I don't find this important, I'm gonna hang up on you. And yes, you're going to get hung up on. Yes, you're going to get just punched in the face and beaten down. This is sales, this is entrepreneurship, this is hard. And you have to set the right expectation with setting and the right framework. And the right framework for this and on sales calls is that you're coming from a place of wanting to help. And when you come from a place of wanting to help, you're going to reach the right person. That right person is going to know. They're going to feel it, and they're going to give you a shot. Just like I spoke about on how I made my first $750 in SMMA, that first client of mine understood. They felt that I was authentic and honest with them, and by extension, what they did, this fucking backpack, was give me an opportunity. And so in your journey, you're going to experience this. You're going to feel like nothing might stick, but that's just because you're not doing enough. That's just because you're not doing enough volume. And Alex Hormozi said, I continuously repeat him because he is the one that we should all be looking up to in this space. Another epiphany moment that I had along my journey was when he said this: companies sub $1 million a year, what seems like instability or chaos is just simply not enough volume. And when I heard that, and when I heard how much content he posted, I said to myself, it would be stupid of me to sit here and say, no, that's not right. But it's absolutely true. And you have to put ego aside when you're learning. You have to understand that you don't know it all. And myself included, yourself included watching this. But it's hard to unlearn things. And that's why you need to join a mentorship, and you need to join a group when you first begin. Because if you go down this path of just doing everything yourself, you're gonna think you could do it all, but the process of unlearning is so much more difficult than you can imagine. It's basically undoing a habit. Like think of all the bad habits in your life. Why do they still exist? There's a reason for it, because it's difficult. It's not easy. So going back to setting though, keep the curiosity loop open, give as much value as you can, scrape leads off Google Maps, put them to an Excel sheet, green, yellow, red. Keep it simple, no need to overcomplicate things. And that's pretty much that. I hope this 8-minute ramble through the streets of Athens helps you guys with understanding the framework on how to set. Because we need to increase show up rate in order to scale. Alrighty, peace.